here's a list of 10 skills that I have never, ever done before in my life. Not in ranked, not in unranked, not in training.
Never.
These are 10 things I always thought were too hard for me to learn, too mechanically challenging, too insane for me to pull off. But the truth is, I just haven't done the work to learn them. Every day I see people pull off amazing things in this game, and every day I think, wow, maybe that'll be me one day. But you can't have that mentality in Rocket League. You have to go and get what you want in this game. And that's exactly what I'm doing today. I'm gonna be learning 10 new amazing skills from easy to seemingly impossible that I've never even thought about doing before. And I'm gonna show you too. Number 1, the no flip, or flip cancel. Easy. This move is really simple, and it's one of those things that I know how to do in theory, but it just never really occurred to me to use it that much or practice it. All this is right after you flip towards the ball to shoot, you just pull back on the stick the opposite direction that you flip. I was basically able to implement this as soon as I just tried it. The hardest thing was just, if your stick is angled at all, you'll kind of roll like this. So it's just about keeping the stick straight. This is one of the most fun things to practice. It's super easy, it feels cool, and also feels awkward at the same time. It's weird and cool, and it's exactly the kind of skill that I want to add to my repertoire. On to number 2, the tornado flick. Easy. So now we get to the stuff where I literally don't even know how to pull it off at all. Thankfully, my friend Musty has a nice little tutorial. I checked it out and had to start at the beginning. And the beginning, of course, is how to tornado spin, period. It just has never occurred to me to learn how to tornado spin. All that is you have to bind air roll right or left to a button, and then you hold the stick the opposite direction of that bind, and there you go, tornado spinning. So for the flick, all you're doing is tornado spinning up into the ball, and then, you know, flicking the ball. Pretty simple after that. The hardest part of this is having the ability to dribble the ball comfortably and keeping the ball under control while you're doing this. Thankfully for me, I already have the ability to dribble and flick. I just haven't sat down and spent time on this. So in about 15 minutes of awkwardly spinning and getting the basics down, I was able to do a couple of these, no problem. On to number 3, pre-flips. Here's another one that's super easy in theory, but I just haven't practiced it. Now I'm doing it. So all this is you're flipping way before you reach the ball, and you have to kind of predict where your wheels or nose or whatever you're hitting the ball with is going to end up after your flip. This was super fun to practice, really easy. You just throw yourself at the ball and just see what happens. It's really one of the most fun things to practice. After a while, I was able to pretty consistently get some solid hits. And that's all it is, pre-flips, boom. Obviously, this is all in training, so it's not like I've mastered any of these skills yet. It's just about doing them for the first time. You know, this is the first step. You gotta practice it, you gotta miss a lot, and you gotta do some in training. But yeah, pre-flips, can do it in training now, you know? That's better than haven't even tried it. On to number 4, the turtle flick. Now we're getting into medium territory, a little bit harder. So the weird thing about the turtle flick is when I added it to this list and I saw a video of how to do it, it looked really, really easy. I thought this was gonna be one of the easy skills, but it's actually medium because it's super awkward to do. I was really surprised by how awkward it felt, and that's actually a really good sign because it means it's a motion I haven't really practiced at all. But yeah, all you do is you just air roll to the side, you turtle under the ball, and then you flip right when the ball, you know, lands to a place where you can flip. I don't really know how else to describe it other than just like, you just have to watch it. You basically just replicate what you see here. It's actually really hard to time it right where you pop the ball high, so most of mine are just little baby turtle flicks. This was actually a nice one, a perfect setup for me to slam it into the post. But yeah, about 10 minutes of practice and you can learn to do the turtle flick pretty easily. Again, implementing it in a game, another story, but we'll get there. Number 5, the Musty Flick. And this is one that I've wanted to do for so long. I don't know why I've never practiced this, because it's actually fairly simple, but it also takes a little bit of practice. So when you watch it, it looks like just a simple backflip flick, but really it's kind of difficult. So there's actually 2 important notes about this that I discovered when I was trying to learn to do this. If your nose isn't pointing straight down, when you do a backflip, you'll lose your momentum and you won't flip forward powerfully. You have to get your nose pointed straight down. The problem with that is every time you point your nose down, your tail wants to hit the ball ahead of you, and you end up kind of doing this motion. So I had to look up Musty's tutorial on this, and the key is you have to have the ball way out on the front of your nose. I was trying to set it up like a normal flick, but the key is you have to have it way out further. It's almost like you're losing control, and then you backflip, and then it's kind of awesome when it works. I was really happy once I was finally able to do this for the first time. Number 6, a clean flip reset with power. Now I would just put flip reset on here, but I have managed to pull off a flip reset in a game. But my flip resets are super weak, so I decided to put power flip reset. What I really mean by that is I wanted to be able to actually get some good contact on the ball and really, you know, get some power off of flip reset. So for me to learn this, I just used Bacchus mod, which allows you to set up the ball to roll towards you. I had to betray my Octane because flip resets are quite a bit easier on the flat cars. And before long, I was able to get a flip reset with some power using that big old breakout tail. Number 7, the ceiling Musti Flick. The funny thing is, I can already barely ceiling shot, but one of the main things I've learned through all this is you learn basic skills much quicker when you just go for insane things. Pushing your limits as far as possible will actually bring up your general base level of skill as well. So before, in my mind, I thought I had to become solid at ceiling shots before I could try anything else more advanced. But really, nothing will get you better at ceiling shots like going for Musti Flick ceiling shots, because it demands even more precise air control. This took a lot of repetition and a lot of misses, but eventually I was able to connect with the ball and get a decent amount of power on it, although it's not the cleanest of Musti Flicks, but hey, it's a ceiling shot Musti Flick, and I just learned Musti Flicks, so I felt pretty good about it. Number 8, the Breezy Flick. So the Breezy Flick is a combination of a tornado spin and a Musti Flick. So again, I'm using the skills that I learned before and just combining them for a more difficult move. It's just like the tornado spin, except halfway through, you stop holding air roll. So then your car is just rotating into the Musti Flick position and then flipping. So the key to this was getting the motion down separately before trying to do it with the ball. Hey, this is kind of fun. And then once I had the muscle memory of that, just had to apply it to a flick. Easy. Once you get the theory down, practice it a couple times. If you have a base level of dribbling, you should be able to do this. But I will say it took a lot of trial and error before I was finally able to pull one of these off. This was one of the ones where I wanted to make sure I could do a couple times because it's just that fun. Number 9, the ceiling double tap. Like I said before, I am not good at ceiling shots, so this was an incredible challenge. This took several hours of just miss after miss after miss. It looks so simple, but it's so difficult for me. I wish I could say how many ceiling shots I've set up in this video. It's gotta be hundreds, maybe 1,000 or more. But after missing so many, I had to figure out what I was doing wrong, and it finally occurred to me that my flips were sending me too far out of control. And that's when I realized I needed to apply that first skill I learned, the flip cancel. Once I realized canceling my flip off the ceiling shot was what I needed to apply, it put me in a perfect position for a double tap, and I was able to do a couple of these actually. You're not going to beat many defenders with that, but the point is, this is the first time I've done it, and it's the first step to learning some more advanced mechanics, and I was pretty proud of it, especially since I had done like 500 of these. But that leads us to the most challenging, the impossible, the ceiling 360 stall flip reset. So I got this from a tutorial from Kronovi, and it's actually also just a general stall tutorial. Stalling is by far one of the most difficult things I had to learn for this video. It's pretty easy in theory, but it's so hard to pull off. So all it is you dodge left and air roll right at the same time. If you do that at the same time, perfectly timed, your car will just kind of like sit there when you jump. So my goal was to fall off the ceiling, do a 360, stall under the ball, get up on it, flip reset, shoot. So yeah, as far as I was concerned before I made this video, completely impossible. I didn't even know where to start doing that. But now, thanks to all these skills I had learned, I was able to break it down step by step and try to figure it out. And holy crap, did it take so long. Hundreds of misses, just over and over, just could not do it. If I could even get in the right position, most of the time the stall wouldn't work. I can only do the stall about 40 to 50% of the time anyway, much less being in the right position, getting the stall to go, and getting the flip reset. But finally, I was able to get a slight flip reset off this, and you might say I barely made contact with the ball, but you know what? At this point, I had done the impossible. I mean, I got the flip reset. Yeah, my car didn't impact the ball very much, but hey, you see the dodge? That's a flip reset. Ceiling 360 stall flip reset complete, okay? I actually had a couple where I got a nice just stall shot. I know that's not a ceiling 360 stall flip reset, but it's just a ceiling stall, you know, whatever you want to call it. So what was the point of all this? It's not like I had done any of this stuff in game, right? For For one, it just feels good doing cool things in this game, and I just haven't done enough of that throughout my time playing Rocket League. Second, it was just really gratifying trying something I never thought was possible and actually being able to accomplish it. Third, I really need to open up my options when I'm playing. I'm limited by my mechanical ability, and practicing these kind of things will push the limits of my mechanics and allow me to become a better player in general. It was clear by the end of this that I had already become better at ceiling shots, flip resets, and other stuff that I thought I knew how to do before. So no matter what rank you are, wherever you are on your Rocket League journey, I highly encourage you to try to learn some of these skills, because it was really fun. In fact, the 11th skill was the fun I had along the way. That sounded less cheesy in my head. Nah, we're gonna roll with it. I know you guys like cheesy sayings. Don't lie to me.